Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Not For Nothing. I'm going to ask everybody up front, because normally I do it at the very end, but I don't think anybody's actually hanging around that long, but I'm going to ask you to like and subscribe. That does help my growth in the channel and get the word out there. On that note, I have a local tattooer here who's fairly new to the game. Well, not fairly new to the game, not super new to the game. Yeah. But I'm going to have him introduce himself. So why don't you tell everybody who you are and you give us a name and everything and where you're at.
Cool, yeah. My name is Leonardo Gonzalez. I work out of Visual Expressions in East Hartford. Been tattooing, I want to say maybe like 5 years, 6 years. Started my apprenticeship around like mid-2018, like summertime around 2018 with Jeff Mansolf and Lou Jacques up in Mass, Southbridge at Clockwork Tattoo. Okay. And then now I'm in East Hartford.
So are you from Connecticut originally, considering you were up in Massachusetts when you did your apprenticeship?
We moved from New York. So I was born in Brooklyn, raised in Queens. And then in 2001, after the 9/11, all that stuff happened, we decided to move somewhere else.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And my mom had moved from Queens to New Britain, Connecticut. So we're like, it's either Tampa or New Britain.
Oh,
and
wow.
Luckily, we went to New Britain because I hate Florida. It's awful. The heat, the only thing cool about there is like the gators and the lizards and the critters and all that stuff. But other than that, the heat is just unbearable.
So that you're kind of into all that stuff. Well, we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But like, so were you born here in this country or?
Yeah, I was born here.
Okay. So
I was born here. My first language is Spanish. And then I had to just learn English. I think I learned English, I think it was like around like second grade-ish around there.
Where's your mom from?
My family's from Puerto Rico.
Okay.
So they came here, I believe in the 70s. There was a lot of back and forth, like 60s and 70s, kind of like come here, spend a few years in New York, right. Go back to the island. And then they finally settled, I think, in like the 80s. Okay. Here, they're just like finally established.
So how did you end up hooking up with Jeff and Lou? Because at that point, wasn't Lou was already well into Massachusetts, and yeah. Jeff, wasn't he commuting back and forth? Yeah, did he start commuting back and forth to Middletown?
He was commuting. I think he was living in Middletown, I believe.
Yeah.
So he was commuting up to Massachusetts to tattoo, and then at that time, I was dating someone that worked at the coffee shop in Middletown, and then she had introduced me to Jeff. Okay. And then he was like, whenever you feel like fucking tattooing and learning how to tattoo, I'll teach you.
So how did he know about your art? Because I know, I think I knew your art before I knew that you were at that time either apprenticing or just finished apprenticing.
I had shown my work at the coffee shop at Clay Colo in Middletown a bunch, and that kind of opened up some doors and people started seeing my art and all that stuff. Right. So it really kind of helped get my name out there a little bit. And then I was working in comics, like indie comics. So I was just trying to work for Marvel, work for DC, IDW, anybody that would hopefully hire me. They didn't really happen, but that's, whatever.
Well, that whole field is incredibly difficult to get into and not as lucrative as a lot of other things.
It's a shit show. It's not enough pay for the amount of time you put into working. So let's say you do like a comic page that you might read in like 2 minutes. It might take 10 to 15 hours of work to do pencils and inks. Never mind like coloring. Never mind like lettering, the editing, the scanning, the back and forth. It's like, hey, fix this panel. Can you make this face bigger? Can you flip this? It's a nightmare.
And this is before This is probably before you were doing anything digitally.
Yeah, this is before I was doing anything digitally. It was all by hand. I still do a lot of things by hand. I prefer to do everything traditionally. Even some tattoo designs, it gets a little harder, but Procreate's made that easier. So, yeah. But this is like, I started doing comic work 2010, and then I stopped in 2019.
Was that strictly to pursue like an apprenticeship, or?
I was still doing comic stuff and apprenticing.
Which is a great idea.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, I'm going to apprentice the tattoo stuff. I'm going to keep trying to do commissions and, comic work. And then hopefully something kind of gives. I was also working at Walmart
So that's what I was going to ask. Did you have
So-
like a day job that you were? Because I mean, obviously, like you said, the comic book thing really wasn't working out phenomenal.
It doesn't pay.
Yeah,
It doesn't pay
but
at
so you
all.
did have a day job working at Walmart.
Yeah, I did have a day job. I finally quit that job after 18 years. My mom got me that job. That was my second job. After 18 years, I quit December 12th, 2022.
Shit. How old were you when you
I was in high school.
started?
Yeah, when I
But how old
started.
were you when you quit? Like, how old are you now?
I'm 39.
Oh shit. Okay.
So 2002, what was that?
So you
3
got
years
you got a
ago?
fairly
Yeah.
late start in the
Yeah.
in the apprenticeship thing.
Yeah, I got a fairly late start, which time doesn't really mean anything to me. It's just like whatever. You just gotta go through the things you have to go through to get to where you want to be.
Right.
So you just gotta do it.
Right.
Starting over is never. I don't really care.
So now with the apprenticeship, you were bouncing back and forth from Massachusetts to Connecticut, like living in Connecticut.
I was living in
driving-
Connecticut, driving up to Massachusetts once or twice a week. I was driving this piece of garbage car that's still kicking. I don't know how. My grandfather's driving it around. It's still going. It's got like 300,000 plus miles on
Nice.
it. Toyota Camry.
Oh, there you go. It's Toyota.
So it's still going. It's seen, a lot of cars have died, and that's still somehow going. But I was commuting back and forth. I was working full time. And then the apprenticeship and, life in general.
How difficult did you find, like, so you're obviously doing a lot of a lot of artwork, physical, like medium, and making that transfer. And I will admit, I did talk to Lou about you, like a year or two ago,
Okay.
when we were talking about you as an apprentice, and where he felt, I don't want to say your shortcomings, but where he felt you had the most difficult time was
Yeah.
making that translation
Yeah.
from physical on paper, pen and ink
To
to
skin.
skin. How
Yeah.
like what would you say? Like how would you say you started tackling it? And no offense to you, I will admit you can see where you still do have that. Like,
Yeah, I still-
that tie up between
Yeah.
getting that flow of lines and whatnot.
It's still a struggle. It's a constant struggle, and it's a constant opportunity for growth. But like watching Jeff, watching Lou, watching Steve, watching Johnny do their thing. Seeing that kind of take shape on the skin is very different than on a flat surface.
Yeah, and all those guys, like Lou's been tattooing as long as I have. And so you got well over 30 years. Jeff's been tattooing. He's got to be
Probably
well
like
into
20 something.
I was going to say mid-20s.
Yeah.
So being around that is a phenomenal. That's a great way to get into the business.
Yeah. I was lucky to have those two guys as my mentors, and even Johnny, Steve, and some of the other artists.
Being in a good cohesive shop where everybody's.
Yeah, everyone's working. There's no bullshit. There's no dick measuring. I guess it's just kind of like we come into work, we do our shit, and we fucking go home. If you want to learn. If you don't want to learn, you can fuck off.
Right, exactly.
So it's a good atmosphere for that. But watching them work and kind of seeing how they approach things and how they break things down, where it's like, oh, I kind of see it. It's a little different than noodling on a piece of paper. It's like, all right, we have your central element, and then there's a composition and a flow, and things are kind of built around like a sleeve or something, and it's built in pieces. It's not necessarily...
there's a handful of tattooers that have come from comic book backgrounds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whether or not they did it full time, I think Eric Talbot is another
so
one.
Eric Talbot was one of the reasons I ended up seeing his. He had like a commercial. He had like a little segment on the news. It wasn't a commercial. It was a little segment where it's like, hey, Eric Talbot, blah blah blah, Ninja Turtles comic. I remember drawing on my lunch break at Walmart and just looking up, and I'm like, what the fuck? And it's like, this is cool. It's like, you know what? Maybe. Fuck it. I'll just fucking do it. Fuck it. Fuck this comic shit. It's like
really.
It's like.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be insanely difficult to walk away, because most people that are getting into comics, illustration is one thing, but comics. The one thing I've noticed with a lot of comic book artists, or even artists that were illustrators outside of comics, but when they had the opportunity to take a major pay cut, like Daniel Dos Santos is another friend of ours, a friend of mine, And when I heard he took on this project, it was going to take him 2 years to produce, where he was going to do a painting of almost every Marvel character.
Yep.
Dude, he jumped at the opportunity, and it was a major pay cut.
It's a huge pay cut.
But he was so excited
Yeah.
to do this fucking project. And
Yep.
I'm like, so to be able to walk away from that, from wanting to be a comic book artist, especially because, like I said, the way I thought you were a regular on the Ninja Turtles, like because you were so prolific at drawing those characters.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. A lot of the stuff that, like the sketchbook you gave
Yeah.
me and a bunch of stuff like that, like I was blown away by the quality. You know, you're fucking hell of an artist. You know?
Thank you. It just gets to a point where you just get tired, and it's just like you're just drained, and when you're not hungry for it, you just don't care. And I found myself in that pool of just like, I'm just kind of doing this to go through the motions, and I don't fucking care.
Right.
Where now it's like I care. Where it's like, all right, it could be an infinity symbol, I care. It could be a small little heart on the wrist, I care. It could be a finger tattoo, I care. It could be a sleeve, I care. It's different every day. It's like you're pushing boundaries and you're learning with every tattoo. And it's not just how to do the tattoo or how to line. It's also how to communicate with the client, how to make them feel comfortable, not ripping people off.
Right.
And kind of giving them an experience.
Now, did you, okay, well, you worked in Walmart, so you had to work around people.
Yeah, those people suck.
Okay, I will admit, the quality of person is going to be a situation.
You get varied people at Walmart. I love the people I worked with. I miss those people because it's like you kind of trauma bond with a lot of these people.
Trauma bond.
With either management's like shit, or shit to them and nice to you, or they're really good people but they're struggling because of some reason. Maybe they're fucking stupid. I don't know. There's a lot of things that happen, but you miss just being around that. And I worked at the Newington Walmart on the Burlington Turnpike, and I probably worked with like 200 people. I never had any issues with anybody.
Damn.
So it's like, how can I get to know this person, joke around, fuck around with them, but also kind of make them feel comfortable. If they need something, they can come to me for whatever reason.
Now, I wonder, because things have changed so dramatically in this business that tattoo shops are not what they used to be 20 years ago. So I wonder what your take would be, being as you've only been in it for like 6 years.
Yeah.
I wonder what your take would be if you had gotten in, having a customer service job like you had, and then going into a tattoo shop where it was the camaraderie of individuals. And again, I don't know what the situation is in the shop that you're in now, but I often wonder what your take from today versus back in the day would have been if you knew the difference on how different shops are today. I think working with Lou and Jeff earlier on in your career was probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Although Jeff is kind of a quiet, weird guy, and not for nothing, I love you, Lou, but you're a fucking weirdo. Yeah, those guys are not the norm. You know.
No, they're not the norm. But I didn't really get attached to what they do out of the studio. It's like, I don't care what you're doing. You could be fucking pigs behind a fucking Aldi's. I don't give a shit. It's like, I want to know what Lou's doing, what Jeff is doing, how is Johnny doing this, why is Steve doing it like that,
right?
You know, why is Wetterman doing this? And I don't necessarily have to watch people tattoo to kind of learn from them, which is one of the issues like they had with me. They're like, oh, you're not watching people tattoo. It's like, yeah, I know. It's fucking boring as shit. I fucking hate it. I know that's not what you guys want to hear because you're fucking old school pirate guys, and it is what it is. But I'm also kind of like, yeah, fuck you. I don't.
But that is a truth because I mean, like, whenever you're not tattooing, just to go in, dude, I do it now to this day. I still go into people's rooms to see what they're doing. You know, so I can see the frustration on their part.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I can totally see your perspective when it comes to not wanting to just sit there and fucking watch somebody.
Yeah, I mean, I in the beginning I watched Jeff. I'm not going to say a lot because that would be a lie. But I did watch him work. But mostly what I was observing was just kind of like how he's handling it, how he's kind of like pacing himself through the tattoo. He's a fucking slow tattooer. You know, great tattoos.
Right.
Like top tier fucking tattooer.
Yeah.
Great artist. Same thing with Lou. Lou's phenomenal. If you see his black and gray work, it's just like,
yeah. Well, I mean, I work.
You can't even believe it. Like,
I've known Lou since 90. I think it was 96, 97, and I worked with him for about a year and a half.
Yeah,
you know.
So it's a cool group of people, but it's just my my thing is, from my experiences from trying to be a gallery artist, from trying to be a freelance illustrator, from trying to be a comic book artist, for me, it's time under pencil, time under paintbrush, time under needle. That was my important thing, where it's like, okay, I can watch you guys, but I don't know what I'm watching or looking for.
Well, I think that's where it comes, where a good teacher is going to be able to tell that you've lost interest, or maybe you're not paying attention to the things he thinks you should.
Yeah.
And again, this isn't taking a shot at Lou or Jeff, but that is a big fucking deal. And the other thing is also you asking, like, well, why did you do that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because not everybody can figure it out by just watching.
I just didn't know what to ask or how to ask. Because I would also watch something for a few minutes and absorb it. And then it's like, now I want to try this. But I have no one to fucking try it on.
Right.
And it's just getting that frustration.
And again, I give you that big time. Like when I first started tattooing, one of the things that the guy who was apprenticing me, his big thing was, oh, you'll never make this money airbrushing. And I'm like, A, you didn't know what I made airbrushing, and B, like if I'm not producing something for a client, I'm still in my studio and I'm painting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm at that time I was painting T-shirts and jackets. So I would get the new Iron Maiden album cover would come out, and I'd be like, okay, well, let's get a jacket. Fucking, we're painting this fucking jacket. Cool. You either sell it or you don't. I mean, you're doing something that's gonna eventually make you money, or at the very least, gets your fucking name out there.
Yeah.
When it comes to tattooing, one of the things we're finding now, working on fake skin is bullshit. I mean,
it doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. It gives you a toe in.
Yeah.
But it's not the same.
No.
And on top of that, nobody, unless it's on another physical human being.
That's the only way.
That's the only way you can get that out there.
Yeah, I've tattooed bananas. I've tattooed grapefruits, oranges, fake skin. I don't even know what else I fucking tattooed.
Those things are good for nothing other than needle to tip, tip to something.
But even then, it's not. It's just it's like, oh cool, you learned how to work on fake skin. It's like, oh cool, you made a stupid thing on a fake skin. I was like, I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah.
It's like, I need to learn how I can use a 3-round liner to do a fine line tattoo on a fucking wrist,
on exactly
on a collarbone, or something like that. Where it's like, I can watch Lou do it, cool, but now I want to try it, and I want to do like 15 of these so I can get a hold of it.
Well, that's like why back in the day, like, I mean, a lot of the work that we did, a lot of the work that we produced was done on fucking people that were just throwing their time up. And that's, again, it comes to the point where it's like, I'm doing free tattoos, like, no full well it's an apprentice. The worst thing I think I'd ever heard was a couple of years after I've been tattooing, somebody came into the shop to show us all the stuff they had on their arms. And they were like, oh yeah, the fucking apprentice from such and such and the apprentice from here did all this fucking shit work on me. And, now I'm all fucked up. And I'm like, they didn't charge you, right? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, because you're like a canvas, dude. Like, they're just fucking on you. Like, they don't give a shit. Like, I won't say they don't give a shit what it comes out like, but the fact of the matter is, your practice, like, that's the whole point of a free tattoo.
Yeah.
The fact that you don't understand that you're giving your body up to so somebody can learn is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. Like, how do you not put 2 and 2 together that this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, therefore I'm getting a free tattoo?
Yeah.
Did you do a lot of free tattoos?
I think I might have done a couple. I still got paid. Jeff always threw some money at me. The money wasn't the thing. Once I started like officially being able to tattoo, and Jeff allowed me to tattoo, I would come in after work. He would have the station set up, and he'd kind of watch me go through the things. And when I first started, I was doing like $50 sessions.
50. Oh, $50 sessions.
$50 sessions.
That makes sense.
So
enough
it's like,
to cover your expenses.
Yeah.
And throw you a couple of bucks.
Yeah, to save up for my own materials. Yeah. But, the session could be, we did a little thing, a little banger on your wrist.
Right.
Or it could be tribal on your fucking arm. Right. I didn't care, because what I wanted was experience.
Every little thing that you do is gonna get you one step at the next step.
So if I could get someone in for like a tribal arm, and it's like, oh, cool, it's $50. Oh, for what? For this piece? It's like, no, dude, for the whole day, because I want you here for the whole day.
Right.
So don't quit on me, because I need this.
At that point, it's like, I'm doing you a fucking favor.
It's like, I'll do this, but I need you to hang on with me. Right. Like don't dick around. Like, I've tattooed people for fucking Burger King. I've tattooed people for tacos. I've tattooed people for free.
Therein lies the joy of being a tattooer.
It's just like, I don't give a shit, dude. It's like, I have this time under needle thing that's in my brain that's constantly going, I fucking need it. I need to do it.
Yeah.
Because I know like the next little tick mark, the next little goal is like right there, and I need to fucking get it. It's like an obsession.
Right.
So it's like I need to. It's also because I'm older. You know, I don't have the years that a stupid ass 20-year-old has starting tattooing. You know?
And that's a legit thing, because I mean the fact is you want to get in, you want to get enough under your belt as quickly as possible so that you can move on to the next level.
Yeah.
And start making an actual living. An honest living.
And for me, it's just getting to that next level of just like, okay, I'm not a beginner anymore, but I'm still not an intermediate. I'm still getting into that flow of things, you know.
Right.
And it's getting to that point, but it's just like I need the experience, and that's what I'm still doing with my clients now. It's like I could be working on someone for 9 hours. It's like I'm not going to charge you $1,000. It's like we'll do 5.
Well,
I think $450. Something, you know.
I think that's a clever way that's a smart thing to do, because the fact of the matter is the clientele you build up now in the earlier parts of your career, those are the people that hopefully are gonna, as long as you don't fuck them, you know, like burn them, they get a really horrible tattoo. But for the most part, I think all those people are going to be understanding enough to go, oh no, I got tattooed by him 5 years ago when he first started. I'm still getting tattooed, and that be able to show first and last tattoos. That's a big fucking deal.
Yeah, and I'm still tattooing people from when I started tattooing at the very beginning. You know, like Kara, she's gotten a bunch of my stuff. I met her down in Middletown at the coffee shop, and she's just been with me since day one.
Right.
And I'm still tattooing her and just seeing.
And you're doing fun stuff that you.
Yeah, doing fun stuff, and she takes care of her tattoos, and they heal well.
Right.
And it's also fun when she gets other tattoos by other artists, and I can see, and it's like, oh, you got these dog portraits. It's like, this is so freaking cool, dude.
Yeah.
I can't do this. This isn't anywhere near my skill level yet.
Right.
But this is awesome. You know, I love that.
So when you started, Lou and Jeff were pretty. Well, Jeff I think is probably a little less old school than Lou is. I don't know if Jeff is using rotaries or is he using coils still.
Jeff is using rotaries.
So now, did you get a pretty equal understanding between rotary and coil, or did you mainly start with coils?
I did my first tattoo on Johnny. He had me do a little cherry blossom, like a little cherry creek cherry blossom on his leg with a coil machine. And it was horrendous. You know,
was it horrendous because
I sucked? It was horrible.
Oh, that was the very first time you held the machine.
Yeah, it was the very first time I held the machine.
Oh, that's understandable.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, when you're looking at it, where it's like I can do this on paper, and then on skin, it's just like I have this fucking dog shit. I gotta.
Dude, the very first time I held the tattoo machine, I tattooed myself. The first time I tattooed, and I did a little like lightning bolt tribal. That I was able to line, obviously, and then I got to do 2 or 3 different line weights inside the tribal. And then I was able to go take black and just take a shader, take a 4 flat, 7 mag, 11 mag. Well, and we didn't use any. I didn't use anything bigger than a 9 mag for the first year I tattooed. Okay. But I was able to use all these different needle groupings in that little bit of tribal. Fine. Very first time I tattooed a friend. First time holding a machine, tattooing an actual person other than myself, and I was like this. Like, how were you when you tattooed the guy at the shop, the guy Johnny at the shop? Like, were you freaked out at all, or you were just frustrated because you had a hard time?
Frustrated because I was having a hard time with the tools. I've never been nervous with a tattoo. It sounds kind of cocky.
Well, that's the day.
It sounds kind of douchey, but it's like the fear of tattooing someone. That's not what's there.
I wonder how much that has to do with the time that you got into it. Like I said, when I first did it, I was nervous as shit. I remember in like early 2000 watching apprentices not give a fuck. Literally just going at people like not a care in the fucking world. They would do anything and not give a shit.
Yeah, so that's the problem I have with not only like this era of tattooers, but also the douchebag, dumb fuck people from like the early 2000s where it's just like, yeah, dude, I have a machine in my hand, I'm a tattooer, I can do what I want, I'm on top of the mountain. And it's like, motherfucker, you can't line out of a wet paper bag.
Yeah.
Like, go fuck yourself.
But do you think a lot of that's got to do with ego, certainly,
it's
but also just the ignorance of not realizing, not looking at what's going on.
They're not looking at what's going on. They don't care about the craft, you know, because like Lou, Jeff, they're tattooers, but if you break them down, they give a fuck. They give a fuck, but they're also technicians.
Yeah.
Where it's like you throw anything at them, they can fucking do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you have a lot of people now that's like, oh, I can only do golden Grim Reapers that hold, a coffee cup. And it's like, fuck you, dude.
Well, that's the thing. Again, I think that's part of the problem with a lot of people coming into the business now is the fact that they already got a preconceived notion of what it is that they want to do.
Yeah.
And you look at it and you go, okay, first of all, because there's a lot of people in Connecticut. I won't name names, but they specialize in fine line bullshit. And you look at it and you go, you're not good at it.
No.
Like, you should really maybe get good at being a tattooer.
Yeah.
And then worry about whether or not you're good at being a fine line tattooer.
Yeah, like, start with, if you want to do fine line stuff, and hey, start with the 7-round liners, because you don't have control over the 3s at all.
And again, that was one of the things, like, back in the day, my big thing was everybody couldn't believe, a lot of what I did relied on a 3.
Yeah.
And the guys at Darkside, they started calling me fucking Joey Razors because I used a 3 on almost every tattoo that I did.
Yeah.
And that's just how I came into this business. But in my opinion, if you could line clean and solid with the Type 3, like pull a clean line with the Type 3, then you could pretty much line with anything. Because anything else requires a little less control of depth, a little less control of speed, a little bit, movement. You know what I mean? You have a little bit more wiggle room when it comes to how you drop your lines. Where with the 3, you need in my opinion, I start here and here.
Yeah,
that's it.
You need experience with the 3. So Jeff had me start with 7s, I believe. So I started doing a lot of things with 7s and bold 3s. But as I got progressively better and just kind of like watching him do his thing, and I was like, this motherfucker is pulling these goddamn motherfucking lines with a 3. I fucking hate this guy. So it's like, what I ended up doing was I threw away all my fucking needles, and I was like, I'm only doing 3s. So the training wheels are off. I'm either gonna sink or I'm gonna swim. I'm gonna figure this shit out.
I'm gonna have a lot of gray, hazy tattoos.
I don't give a shit. I don't give a, but I have to fucking master it, because if he's doing it, granted, he's got years under his belt as a tattooer, but it's like I'm his apprentice, and it's like I can't leave this apprenticeship being dog shit.
Right.
Like I have a reputation to kind of live up to, and I have Lou and Jeff, where I'm just like, I came from them. I can't be like,
you don't want to let them down. You don't want to let them down.
So it's like, I need to do this. I need to figure it out. So I figured it out. So now every tattoo I do with a 3.
Oh, you're still working with 3s?
I'm still working with 3s. So
so with me personally, I always felt like I'm a big firm believer, and I never looked at it as the rule of 3s. I think it was Jimmy Litwalk that actually put that in my head, the rule of 3s. But a lot of times when I'm lining, I usually align with Type 3, Type 7, or 3 and a 7, a 5 and a 9.
Okay.
And then from there, I might bolt something out a little bit on the outer line, whatever.
Yep.
So there's 3 line weights. With shading, a lot of times when I'm working that way, I always look at it as, well, I'm going to need a 7 mag and an 11 mag. I'm going to need a 9 mag, a 13 mag, or an 11 mag and a 15 mag. So it's like, I always have that duality, which is what I like about the rotary machines, because it's less machines you have to set up, obviously.
Yep.
But that is a really important thing. And I think, to me, the 3 was always something that set your line work apart from, especially when I was coming up in the 90s, the late 90s, early 2000s. If you put a 3-liner in there, that tight line work really kind of gave your work a bit more dimension that a trad tattoo didn't have, or like, a regular tattoo, like just standard tattoo. I'm not talking about like custom stuff, but that standard tattoos didn't have. You know what I mean? I also came in at a time where Jack Rudy's work was big on the walls at the shop I worked in.
Okay.
We didn't do single needle work. We used Type 3s to do all the line work, and we used 7 mags to do all the shading.
Okay.
So for me, it just made sense, and I was able to transfer that to my work in general. So.
Yeah, it was just one of those things where it's like, I need to figure it out. I have to.
So now, like looking at the work that you're doing, so you did have we kind of got off subject, but you did have a fair bit of coil and rotary. Or was it mainly rotary?
It was mainly rotary. I did one machine with one tattoo with a coil, and then from there, Jeff was using the Spectra Halo FK irons. So I started doing a lot of tattoos with those. That was my first machine.
Okay.
And I did a bunch of tattoos with that, and it was just like, it was lighter, and it's nice. I was able to maneuver it around, not as much as I can now with like the pen machines.
Yeah.
Those are a lot easier, not attached to a cord.
It is funny because you look back from the standpoint of like what you look back as like, oh yeah, the Spectre Halos were clunky as shit. You know what I mean? As opposed to a coil machine, which was like once you switch to anything else, it was like it's like taking a brick off the end of your pencil.
Yeah. So it's like I can't hate the guys that still are into the tradition of the coils and all that stuff. Me, I'm an artist that became a tattooer. But I don't consider myself a tattooer because I didn't learn how to make my machines. I didn't learn how to make needles. I'm sorry. Probably.
I'll be honest with you. It's a completely different world. I'm not offended by that. I know a lot of tattooers that are. But the fact of the matter is we live in a different day and age. And we live in a day and age where a lot of times, one of the reasons I don't think I would ever take on an apprentice, one of dozens of reasons I don't want an apprentice. But the other thing is like, I think that you should know the difference between a coil machine and a rotary. And the reason why I bring this up is over the last 8 months, year, I've been dabbling back into my coils. You know what I mean? And again, cabinets full of coils. They don't go bad.
They don't go bad. Like, you just got to switch out the parts.
Exactly. The most I had to do, I spent 2 hours changing out the O-rings on most of on all my springs and whatnot because they're all dry rotted.
Yeah.
But the idea is when you know that there's a difference, and that's the one thing why I asked you if you had used coils before. When you know there's a difference between the way the two machines run, rotaries are an incredibly convenient tool.
Yeah.
Coil machine's better. I hate to tell you guys, just the fucking truth.
It is what it is. I don't have any experience.
And again, that makes perfect sense.
I can't say it, but I do remember when I was the shift between using, because I was started with the rotaries, and then I ended up buying a Bishop wand in 2019 when they got released. And I was like, what the hell is this dildo machine? Let me give it a shot and try it. So Jeff was using it for a while. Then he ended up buying one, and we got the batteries, and it was fun. But I still preferred, because I did a lot of my tattoos with my Neo-Tats. I used the Vivace.
So you were still using? So you were using needles on the bar still?
Yeah, I was still using needles on the bar,
which are still, in my opinion, better aligners.
Yeah, it's better. The pen machine is convenient, and I can feel the difference between using a Neo-Tat, or a Bishop V6. Those are the two that I toggled with, and using the Bishop wand. And then for a tattoo, I had to set up like 5 machines. Because it's like, all right, here's my 3-round liner, here's my 7, here's my 8-round shader, and here's my 13 or my 15 mag. And then sometimes it's just like, oh, the fucking stupid tube is like crooked, and it's like, all right, now I got to take this apart and set up another one, or just set it aside. Because my thing, I love buying machines. I have many.
I'll be honest with you, it's nice to hear that.
So many machines. It's like, oh, I have some money. Fuck it, I'll buy another Neo-Tat.
So it's mainly you're buying. So how are you using the Neo-Tats at all? Because when you were here, you were just using the pen.
I was using the pen just out of convenience.
Okay.
Just because I'm here doing a guest spot, so it's like, all right, I want to have a bunch of things I have to clean, a bunch of tubes I have to bring.
Understandable.
It's just like, all right, I'll just bring my quadrants and just switch out the needles and call it a day. Do the tattoo.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, the tattoo is still a tattoo. It doesn't matter if you're using this or if you're using that.
Well, there does come a point where, when you look at it from the perspective of what tool is going to be best, a lot of times convenience does win out over.
Yeah.
Man, I'm going to set up a pen because it's just going to be a quick little banger or whatever.
Yeah.
But then there's other times where it's like, oh no, there's a lot of line work in this. And setting up my, this machine with needles on the bar, 3 line weights, and I'm going to rock this thing quick and perfect. Yeah. As opposed to, I could do it with a pen, but I'm not going to be as happy with the
results. Some people have that variation. I'm able to get the same result from using the pen or using the rotaries. It's still the same thing. It's just out of convenience.
Right.
And with the pen, I can line a little quicker and a little easier. I can turn corners, because before I would do a lot of lining, just kind of like flipping my machine and kind of pulling some lines.
Right. You're doing all the things you're told not to do.
But this is what's working for me.
Right.
But now,
well, again. We live in a different day and age where I think people just are used to A, convenience, okay, and B, it's not a matter of like what's right and wrong anymore. Now it's like because you didn't learn one way, you no longer have like you don't have the same guardrails that we had.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We always did things a certain way because this is the way you wanted it to heal. This is the way you wanted it to age.
Yeah.
Where now it's like I don't think any of that exists. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know too much about the new tattooers because I'm caught in like this weird middle area where it's like I'm in the age group of these old farts, but then I'm also experience wise with these like younger cats over here doing their thing.
But you also
You
came in with two artists that have legs.
Yeah.
In the business.
Yeah.
And the fact is, they're not, I don't think that they're going to let things slide. So it's like you had to do things in a certain manner.
Yeah.
Where a lot of younger kids now, it's like, oh, here's a machine. Here's where you buy your fucking your tips, your cartridges. Like they're not being told different ways. They're just being told how to get the job done. Yeah. And then on top of that, I think the biggest issue you deal with is that a lot of these kids now, they don't want to learn. They don't want to know there's a difference between certain things. It's like, oh no, this works. I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
If you say, okay, well that's a cool machine and it works, but this works better.
This works better.
But this is fine.
Yep.
It is, but you could do it quicker, easier, and better with something else.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people nowadays don't want to fucking hear that. All they care about is like, yeah, I don't need that. I've already figured this out.
Yeah. And I think that's the attitude that kind of sucks with like the younger generation. And I've spoken to a few artists that wanted to get into tattooing, and they reached out to me to kind of look at their portfolios and talk to them. I think what they were actually looking for was like me to show up, and it's like, oh, look at your portfolio. Wow, come here. I'll give you a fucking job.
Yeah.
So that's what they were looking for. And I was just like, this is bullshit. It's like you have like, you're covered in tattoos. You have like $4,000 worth of tattoos on you. I can tell by the pieces.
Right.
You're fucking 20 years old. Your portfolio's fucking shit.
Yeah.
And you don't want to hear it.
Well, I think so. I don't. Me personally, the people that are coming up to me and asking about, we do get a handful of people that come up, and people who don't know who I am, so therefore they're not threatened by my personality or my history or my past. So they'll come up and be like, oh, I want to be in a tattoo. I want to be a tattooer, and I'm like, oh, we don't do that here. Well, would you mind at least looking at my work? Which
it's
kudos to them,
yeah.
Fantastic, because nobody does that. Normally, the people just hang up and they go to the next shop.
Yep.
And I've had a couple of people come in, they're showing me their work. And most of it, I will be honest with you, I'd say 90% is whatever. Like, it's nothing spectacular. It's mediocre shit at best. But a handful of people that I look at and I go, oh, they got some talent. And I'll say, listen, what you should do is start concentrating on creating tattoo stuff. Like, look at stuff that you like. Look at tattoos that are trending, whatever. Yeah. And try to draw that stuff and create more of that. And that's what you show people. Because what you're showing me now is it shows that you're a fair artist, but it doesn't show whether or not you can do what we do.
Yeah.
And no matter how you cut it, you could be the best artist in the world. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say you'll say that your testament to what I have to say is the fact that even though you're a great fucking artist, doesn't mean a goddamn thing in the skin.
No.
Because I know a lot of tattooers that started out as illustrators or whatever, and they're not great. They're not good at all.
For shit. I've seen online. You can even look on Instagram where you'll see guys that lay out these incredible pieces, like swirls, Japanese, traditional, you name it. But then they'll take a video or they'll take a photo, and it's like, this thing is just trash. It's full of blown out lines. Your shading is choppy. Your color is overworked. And it's like, how long have you been tattooing? 15 years? And it's like, you haven't figured it out yet?
Well, that was the thing. Even in my day and age, like when I first started tattooing, like there was a lot of artists that were, fairly big names back in the day. Like we're talking like late 80s, early 90s, you know what I mean? They were the artists of tattooers back in the day. So they weren't liked by a lot of tattooers. Yeah. But they were the ones that were kind of, bucking the way things were done. And while people like me in the beginning looked at him as like, oh my God, that guy's a fucking artist. He's not doing what these guys are doing.
Yeah.
And we would look at it and be like, yeah, I want to be like him. But then it got to a point where it's just like, yeah, but I don't think, like, the longer you do this, the more you realize why a lot of the tattooers are looking at that guy and being like, yeah, that's just not going to last.
It's not going to last.
You know what I mean? And it's multiple things. It's not just the tattooing particulars, but it's also the style.
Yeah, it's the style. It's how close. So that's one of the things that Lou and Jeff really kind of drilled into me, where it's like, oh, cool, your drawings are cool. We don't got to teach you how to draw.
Right.
What we have to teach you is how to draw for tattooing.
Right.
And you kind of get that by kind of seeing how they put together their stencils, their designs. There's a lot of, instead of a lot of cross hatching like this, there's a little more growing room, I like to call it, or breathing room. So it's like, cool, I pulled the line, this 7 round line or whatever. You got to give that a little space, because eventually it's going to migrate, it's going to move, it's going to shift. Yeah. And instead of having a bunch of different variations with the tones, it's like, okay, you have like 13 different gray tones here. It's like, simplify it. Yeah. Because eventually it's going to turn into that mush anyway. Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter how good you are. That's just what the body does.
So now, being an artist, and your work is not, and I'm going to post all of your information in the bottom, so anybody wants to see anything. But the thing is, like, being an artist, for me personally, I started out as an airbrush artist. So everything I did, like, I was big into pinups even before tattooing. So I was a huge fan of Olivia, George Petty, Alberto Vargas, Gil Elfgren. These are the artists that I admired. You know what I mean? And so for me, and then I was an airbrush artist. So for me, it's all about those super smooth fucking shades. It's all about like saturation to like to just nothing. So for me, that's what I was trying to do. It did take many years for me to go, okay, well, instead of having 9, different, variations, you go to 3. You know what I mean? And you know what it's going to do in the long term, because certain of those, if you have 9, out of those 9, 3 or 4 may fail, and you're going to end up with these fucking skips in your shading. Yeah. So it did take me it took me a long time to get to that point. With you're more of a comic book artist, so a lot of your stuff was either watercolor or marker or whatever. Yeah. Did you have an easier time creating the blends? I don't want to say they're blends, but like the way you saturate, the way you're dropping ink into the skin. Did you have an easier time trying to almost match like a traditional style of tattooing?
So, like for one, I hate traditional tattoos. You know this. I fucking hate them. If you like them, cool. What's your actual hate for them though? I just hate the way they look, man. It's just like there's stuff to learn from there, because the way they're composed. There's with a lot of them, there's a foreground, midground, background. Yeah. There's a solid line. There's spacing in between the lines. There's not a bunch of things crunched in together. Right. So once you dissect it and you break it down, cool, it works. Right. But would I get one? No.
That's understandable.
So it's like, so that's where it comes, where it's like I fucking hate it, because it's like I wouldn't get it.
So with you having said that, while I do really, I've always loved traditional tattooing.
Yeah.
I don't do it. It's not my thing. But the one thing that I think a lot of new school tattooers took shit for was the fact that it's like, oh, that stuff's not going to last. I'm like, really? Because any new school tattooer worth his fucking salt is following the exact same fucking rules that most trad guys are doing. Yeah. And we're doing it the exact same fucking thing. Way. We're just drawing it.
It's just drawing it bigger or differently.
Or just different. We're encompassing all of your rules and regulations into our lines. Yeah. And our lines are not a traditional Sailor Jerry girl. It's not a fucking traditional mom heart. It's not whatever. It's our images. Yeah. But it's the exact same fucking thing. Jimmy Litwalk is a perfect example of somebody like that. Frank Lee is a perfect example. These are guys that were schooled in old school style of tattooing. Yeah. And they do it in their own fucking way. Yeah. And it is as good, will hold up as well. Yep. But we also live in a day and age where it's like, in 30 years, everybody's going to remember Sailor Jerry. Everybody's going to remember Ed Hardy. Everybody's going to remember certain individuals in our industry that just do traditional tattoos. Where new school guys, may fall out of fucking, I mean, I already have, so it's like, it makes perfect sense that new school is not going to have the same staying power that those have. But when it comes to the rules and regulations and what we follow, it is identical and as good. Yeah. I won't say as better, but as good as anything else.
It's as good. So, like, my hate for it doesn't come for as like, oh, this should be abolished and never done again. It's just, it's not my it's not my style of imagery. But when you dissect it and when you get it to its core values, if you want to call it, right. It's a fucking tattoo, and that's how I approach my tattoos. Yeah. So it's like, oh, cool. There's an outline. The outline might vary in size, but it's an outline. Right. And then it's like, oh, we're gonna do this Pokemon. Okay, cool. Here's the outline. What are the colors? Okay, dark blue into light blue. Fade it into skin. Right. And that's what I found works and translates. And then when it heals, it's like, oh, cool. It reads from 3 feet away and also reads from 12 feet away.
Yeah, cartoons I think are perfect. Cartoons, animation, well, some animation. I don't want to say like all anime because a lot of the anime that's being done this big is great. But when when you got these anime artists doing pieces like reproducing a cell or a fucking a panel this big with nothing but hatched lines, it's like, yeah, it looks great now, dude.
It looks great.
Show me it in 5 years.
Yeah. So that's one of the issues, and there's a lot of people that are just like, cool, I watched this one TikTok or I watched this Instagram reel, and it's like, oh, I know how to do this stipple shading. And it's like, no, you don't, motherfucker, because this guy you're doing your stipple shading, and you're just using straight black for the outline, and straight black for the stipple shading. You know what's going to happen? I
cannot wait to see these tattoos in 10 years.
It's like you don't even have to wait, because it's like, you know what the pigment, what straight black pigment does.
Yes.
It's going to spread.
Yeah.
So if you want to get a gradation, water down your pigment and then kind of build it.
Yeah.
It's still going to probably heal like shit. But it won't heal as dark as if you're just using straight
depending
black.
On the individual, but most things like, I mean, so, I had a Polynesian guy tattoo my wrist many, many years ago. It was just done with a boar's tusk, and it's just tapped. And when you first get it done, it's just dots.
Yep.
And I had the Borneo headhunters. It was when I was in Switzerland, watching them work, and it's sloppy as shit. And no offense to anybody who's been tattooed by any Polynesian individuals, but it is sloppy as shit. When you look at what they've done, it's like all you're seeing is dots, and it doesn't look very clean and whatever. But then he's showing me photos of, I think it was his uncle that had the fronts of his shoulders done.
When they heal.
And they are black as pitch.
Yeah.
Well, it's not only when they heal, it's as they age.
Okay.
So you may end up, like the piece on my wrist is now black. When it was first done, for the first 5-8 years, it was just dots.
Yeah.
And you look at it and you're like, eh. But as it ages, and that's how they're looking at it. They're not looking at it from right now. They're looking at it from... That motherfucker's going to die in 25 years. That tattoo's going to look amazing. Well, it's not going to look amazing. It's going to be black, is my point. And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize when they're doing all this whip-shaded...
Wishy-washy.
Dot work is because, all that eventually, the best thing that person can hope for is it does turn into smooth black and gray, which is what Jack Rudy and a lot of the West Coast guys did with single needle work. Yep. It's going to be interesting to see how many of the cats that are working today with this same technique, but don't necessarily know what the end result is supposed to look like. Yeah. It's not going to look like dots through the entire lifetime of the tattoo. It will eventually turn to nice, smooth black and gray, or just straight up fucking black.
Just black. Yep.
Yeah.
So it depends how you kind of water down and break down your pigment, or what inks you're using, what needles you're using.
Multiple things.
It's a lot of stuff. So,
So you're in a street shop now, for the most part.
Yeah.
You've since moved on from those guys. You're now working for Kelly Green.
Kelly Green, yeah.
And you're working in both the shops, or just the one shop, the visual expression shop?
I'm just working at visual.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now with that shop, you're a street shop guy now. You're doing what you get. You're doing whatever comes through the door.
Yeah.
Occasionally you get to do fun shit on your own.
Yeah.
How much of it is being dictated, of what you're doing in the shop is being dictated strictly by trends? Like you said, infinity symbols, like all the other crazy shit, and how much of your own stuff do you get to do?
I'd say it's probably like 50-50 right now.
Oh, that's good.
So I can't complain about it. But it's just like, if a walk-in comes in, I'm going to do it. Let's rephrase that. I think this is probably one of the issues I probably had working at Clockwork, where I think they thought I didn't want to do walk-ins. But it's like, if something comes in that I can do, and I know I can knock out of the park, I'm going to fucking do it.
Right.
If something comes in that I know I'm going to struggle with and probably butcher somebody, I was like, I'm not going to touch it.
Well, that's smart. Even
I just can't.
Even 30 years in, dude, like something comes in that I don't feel... And again, the older you get, it gets different. But I'd rather one of the other guys, because I have the shop to be concerned with.
Yeah.
Like the shop's got a reputation. It's better to have somebody who's younger and no offense to myself, better at certain things. Yeah. And I'd rather they do.
There's some people that are better at certain things. Some people are like really good at lettering. Some people are really good at portraits. Some people are really good at black and gray. So I'm kind of like, I have my toe dipped in like a lot of different places that I know I can succeed in, but I don't step out of that little box unless I prepare myself to
take on the project like that. Yeah. Now, how important do you think? I personally think it's very important. The first, I would say up until the last couple of years, I would do anything that came in to me, whether it be a walk-in that came in wanting little tiny lettering, whatever. I've changed now. I don't do everything now because, again, there are better people at it. Everybody in this shop is versed at doing anything. They'll do portraits,
Yeah.
black and gray, color, lettering, whatever. I've pulled away from doing the tinier tattoos because, again, older, just easier to have somebody else do it. But how important do you think that is to any tattooer? And we know we live in a day and age where these guys, they don't want to be that person no more. They don't want to do every little thing.
I think now everyone wants to be like a superstar, rock star. I only do the fucking, it's got to be the cool thing I do. Oh, I only do this, the Grim Reapers, or I only do Hanya masks, or I only do whatever the fuck. You just got to do everything. Like, I think that's a load of bullshit where it's just like, oh, I'm too good to do this. It's like, no, you're not, dude. At the end of the day, it's still a job. You need to show up to your job.
Right.
On time, prepare for your clients, and do the work. And maybe or maybe not, it might not come back, but you might do this tiny little infinity symbol on this girl or on this grandma or whatever, and they might be like, hey, Joe's really good. He's really nice. Go check him out. They might come back, get another small piece by you, or it might end up turning into a back piece.
And that's exactly what I was going to ask you. How often do you find yourself having a normal person come in, getting a little, doing maybe one or two of their friends, and you do something really small, little banger, nothing that is you're gonna remember the moment they walk out the fucking door, and they managed to, they you've done your job in the sense that you've sold yourself by just being attentive, good at what you do, good tattoo, whatever, and they've taken the time to go back and go, oh, I really like this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go back to that guy. How often do you get that kind of stuff?
I've had that happen quite often since I've begun my tattooing, both at Clockwork and now at Visual, where it's like, it doesn't matter what comes to the door. I have to make sure I perform a clean tattoo and be there for when my client needs me.
Right.
If anything arises, oh, I need to touch up, this fell out, I have questions. You have to be around.
Right.
Which is something that I see that a lot of tattooers don't want to do.
Yeah. Well, that's something I've
so
often.
I'm not gonna,
that's shitting on a lot of people. But the one thing I've often noticed, like, you've got a lot of like, let's say color realism. Okay. Yeah. So let's say these people are just like, well, these tattoos need to be touched up and they need to be
every 10
maintenance,
years or something.
like every 10 years.
Yeah.
And the problem with that comes from the fact that if I've got to touch a tattoo in 10 years, I didn't do my job.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it personally. I am going to be mad that I have to go in. If I have to go into a tattoo that's been 10 years old, I don't want to touch it because that's an entire tattoo that's got to be redone. That's not. There's no touching up a 10-year-old tattoo.
You have to do the whole thing.
And so to hear certain people make that comment that it's like, oh, well, this is color realism and it ages differently, so I just need to touch up. No, 10 years in, all those things need to be hit. Yeah. You're not just, you touch up red, none of that red's going to match anything else in that tattoo.
It's going to stand out.
So to me, it's actually trained clients to think that, well, that's what a tattoo should look like in 10 years. And if I want to get it done, then I have to. Now, my big thing is how many of those tattooers that did that tattoo and say that, well, in 10 years you might have to maintenance it. Are they going to be around to do that? Because I wouldn't want to.
Probably not. Honestly,
I would guess not. I wouldn't want to do it. Like, dude, like I said, I got a guy reaching out to me now wanting to get something. Oh, I had a hard time healing it, so the red needs to be touched up. I'm like, dude, the tattoo is 8.5 years old. It's got to be redone.
So my cutoff point for like touching up stuff, I would say it's like, I give it like 6 months.
Yes.
It's like, all right, within these 6 months, it's reasonable.
Yeah.
But if you got a tattoo by me, then you went to the beach and you started rolling in sand and punching boulders and doing whatever the fuck, and then you come back and it's like, yo, you messed up my tattoo. And it's like, dude, I can tell what you did to the tattoo because I already have the knowledge of how my stuff heals.
And if I messed up your tattoo, you should have been back here in a month.
You should have been back here last month.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you have a tan?
Do you notice that a lot of people, like what they'll do is they'll come back to you after a year and a half and go, oh, I just want to get my tattoo touched up. Do you think that, me personally, my experience has been that they don't necessarily think they need to touch up or want to touch up. They just want to get tattooed again and not have to pay to get a tattoo.
So that's where the cutoff comes from. So some different artists have different cutoff points for the touch-ups. I kind of cut mine off at like 3 months. I can, depending on who the client is.
Which is understandable. 3 months is perfect.
Yeah, because it's like, most of the time I don't remember their names or their faces. But I look at the tattoo and then it's just like, oh, I remember you.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll touch it up.
That's every tattooer.
Yeah. And it's like other ones, it's like, oh, I remember this guy. this is the guy that, as I'm doing the tattoo, he's telling me how he didn't take care of the other 13 tattoos he has on his arm that look like he's got fucking keloids or some weird disease.
Exactly.
And I'm tattooing him, taking my sweet time, and I'm not going to whack him over the head with the price. But then as soon as I put the saran wrap on it or the second skin on it, he goes out to the parking lot, rips it off, and goes do some dumb shit. Dude, I'm going to go work out at the gym. And it's like, really, asshole? Like, you're really going to do this?
We've seen, back in the day, I remember we'd have people come in, they'd get tattooed dead of summer. And I lived on Long Island, not too far from the coast, you know. These people would come in like a week and a half later, and their tattoos would just be these giant scabs, nasty scabs. And you know full well that they put a slather of fucking ointment on it. And back then, they used to use A&D. Slather of A&D, go out in the sun, go to the beach, do whatever. And this tattoo would just get cooked. Yeah. And you'd be like, yeah, I'm not touching that. And they're like, you fucked my arm up.
You fucked it
no,
up,
I know exactly what you did. You went out in the sun when I told you not to. You went to the beach when I told you not to. Yeah. Well, I didn't go to the beach. I'm like, would you wash your car for an entire day? And that's exactly what used to be the case.
So it's hard. I've learned how to kind of like slowly navigate my clients so that I'm not, and I'm learning that from Kelly Green. She's patient with my bullshit. So it's just kind of slowly trying to like navigate through them and not like, hey, you fucked up the tattoo, asshole, I'm going to punch you in the head. It's more like, oh my God, what happened? Let's take a look at that, come in for a consult, we can talk about it and kind of ease them into it. And as you're working through the tattoo, they'll tell you what they did.
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you think that you're the type of individual that can step back from himself and the situation and honestly listen to what the people you work with have to say? Because like I said before, ego's a big deal with artists. Yeah. Are you that kind of person that you feel that you know, like, you're right. I'm gonna pay attention. I'm gonna consider that.
For me, I'm both. I can either be the stubborn fucking idiot ego guy, or I can be like it all depends how you're coming at me and the particular situation. But what I'm interested in is how to get better. So if you want to get better, you have to shut everything down, step back, take the critique, and then kind of take the points that actually apply. Because a lot of people will give you critiques and they're just,
Oh, there is a lot of that.
I mean, just like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, people like, think they have a lot to say and they...
Or it's like, oh, your tattoo photos, they suck. And it's like, okay, what else do you have for me? Yeah. You don't have nothing? Go fuck yourself. Yeah. Okay? Because it's like, one thing is like, oh, the photos you post for your tattoos suck. Okay, how can I make it better? You're not offering that. And it's like, so I have nothing.
Well, that's the crazy thing. We're in a day and age, like, I made a comment about my friend London on the West Coast. Like, he sent me, he basically texted me. He's like, dude, I made a post. He's like, dude, I'm sending you my light kit. Like, he has a thing he sells through Bishop, and it's a nice little. I forgot what it's called.
I use the same thing.
Okay, so he reached out to me and he's like, I'm going to send it to you. Yeah. Because you need to take better fucking photos. Your photos suck. And my biggest issue is like I try to get my photos to look like what they do.
What, as a tattoo?
How fucked up is it though that we live in a day and age or social media has become such a thing that if your stuff doesn't look like what everybody else is doing, it's looked at as being shit. Yeah. Like I guarantee today. I made a post of this knight in shining armor that I did. And I used a light kit that I put together myself. I don't use the London one. It's good. No offense, London, but I have an easier one.
It's a good kit.
It's a good kit, but it's not
it's not a representation of what a tattoo is.
Exactly. But that's the thing. It's like I did this thing. I tried to get it close to what I thought it looks like. Yeah. But it's still not. It's Mickey Mouse, dude. It's like high saturation, the lighting, the way it works. But that's the problem. It's like you look at it and you go, well, it looks like what everybody else is doing. I guess. And the worst part is I notice there's a dramatic difference when I post a picture under a regular light and I post a picture under filtered light. Yep. And it drives me out of my fucking mind.
It's just, you just can't care about it. It's like if you post a YouTube video and you get those people that are just like reading the comments, it's like if you pay attention to that, it's like, you're going to go insane.
But you don't think that we live in a day and age that you can't help but ignore? You can't ignore it.
You can't ignore it, but at the end of the day, what I'm trying to do is get more people in my chair. I don't give a fuck about what this tattooer thinks about what I post, how I post, what it looks like.
Well, but that's the point
know.
I'm trying to make. The fact
Yeah.
that you kind of have to play the game that everybody else
Yeah,
runs.
you have to play the game, or else
because
you're gonna starve.
You're gonna be left out in the cold. And again, this is coming in 32 years, and it's like you sit there and it's like I don't want to play somebody else's fucking game.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to put my shit out there, and people appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah.
But you have to everything is window dressing now.
Yeah. So that's one of the things. It's just like I just stopped thinking about it. It's like, cool, I'll take a picture with the regular lighting, and then I'll take a picture with the stupid Bishop light kit, Illuminati, whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah, that's what it's called, actually. Yeah.
And it's like, cool, there's the difference, just so you can see, you know.
Oh, so
you can do that. You can be like, oh, this is this, or then this is that. And
that's actually good. That's smart.
So,
because Nico did it a while back. Like Nico was, notorious for just posting the really nice photos, the filtered photos. And then when all the people were getting called out for it, he went and said, okay, well, this is what it looks like without a filter. This is what it looks like with a filter. He doesn't do it all the time. Now it's all filtered photos because that's just makes sense. Yeah. But it does give you a perspective on what things look like. But I think people have gotten so used to things looking a certain way, they don't really care what it looks like in real life. They want to see the bullshit. They want to see the bullshit.
Yeah, so that's I kind of cater my Instagram to my customers, to my clients. So it's like if you came in for like a little bullshit little thing, I'm gonna post it.
Right.
Which I get a lot of flack for that from other tattoos, or it's like only post the things you want, the jobs that you want to keep getting.
Which is understandable.
But at the same time, it's like I had a really good time with this person, and part of their transaction, at least I feel, is also posting what they got.
Right.
Because it's Instagram. Who gives a fuck?
One of the things I've often been asked is, what's your favorite tattoo? And the thing that my answer is, it's never the tattoo. It's the client that you tattoo. I could do the dumbest shit tattoo in the world. That is nothing special, but the client that it's on was a wonderful person.
Yeah.
Enjoy when they come in. And I just enjoy the tattoo.
You enjoy the tattoo, you enjoy the person, and then the hard thing comes in where it's like, now I gotta walk you up to the register and fucking charge you.
Yeah.
Which is, it's like, fuck, man.
Well, that's part of being a tradesman.
Job.
That's part of being a tradesman. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's like, it's just me learning these lessons little by little. With every tattoo is a little differently, because with other tattoos, it's like, this guy was a jerk. He doesn't take care of his tattoos.
Don't give a fuck. Charge this motherfucker out the ass.
And it's like, I'm not going to charge him up the ass, but I'm going to charge him what I should be charging him.
Right.
Because if it's a $600 tattoo, it's going to be $600, because I know you're going to come back for the touch-up.
Yeah.
And hopefully it was in those 3 months, because if it's not, I have to charge you shop minimum.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, Kelly's got to make her money, too. The shop's got to keep running.
Well, again, that's the thing with when you work in a shop, that you have a responsibility to the shop as well. You know what I mean? Because it's not just a matter of you doing what you want to do to get paid. You got to worry about the shop.
It's like, I go in there, it's my job. I have to, do my job. I worry about what happens in my room, but I also have to represent for her and also show up for the other people that work at the shop as well. Like, I can't just be strolling into work drunk. Designs aren't done.
You got to be a professional.
You got to be a professional. And it's like, oh, they leave a deposit. Yeah, they send me a deposit on my Venmo. I don't care. Fuck you. Whatever. It's like, no, dude. It's like, it's a job.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not a rock star. It's like, you still have to show up to your fucking job.
Right.
It's a gift to be able to tattoo people. It's weird because it's like, not everyone gets to do this.
Not everybody gets to do what they want to do for
this. Not everyone gets to work at a shop. There's hundreds of people that would want to be in a shop tattooing, and the fact that I'm just like, who cares? I'm Leo. I can do whatever I want. I got long hair. I'm cool. It doesn't work.
Yeah,
you have to show up for your boss, for your for the other people you work with, but also your client.
Yeah,
come in prepared.
Yeah.
Don't be a fucking douchebag, or just don't come in at all.
Be a professional.
Like, what's the point of that? Because it's like, you can just pack your shit, go work at Walmart, and we'll get somebody else in here that gives a fuck.
Right.
So,
well, let me ask you a question. Now that you started out as an artist, you came into this business as an artist, you continue to do stuff. Yeah. How important is it for you to create outside of tattooing, completely outside of tattooing? And how often are you actually still creating artwork? I mean, I've seen your posts. I've seen the fact that you're constantly drawing Flash. You're constantly drawing comic book stuff. You've had a couple of sketchbooks, which I'm assuming are available on your Instagram and stuff.
Those are sold out. All that stuff sold out, and I was churning that stuff out so much. I was working full-time at Walmart and doing tattooing 4 days a week, plus doing commissions. This was 2019, 2020, and 2021. And I was just a machine, just like churning out. It's like, I gotta make a video for TikTok, I gotta make a video for Instagram, I gotta post something on Instagram, I gotta make another book, I gotta make some flat. And I just got burnt out. So, but I still draw every day. Like, I can't not draw.
Well, that's my point. Like, how important is that? So it's a matter of like it's innate.
Yeah, it's not even. I don't think about it. It's just a habit. It's like if I'm not doing it, it's a fucking problem.
Right.
So it's like I have to do it. It's like something. There's things that just have to come out, and sometimes you get artist block. And I used to get artist block a lot, and I used to just like, it used to just cripple me. But then I got to the point where it's like, cool, I have artist block. I'm gonna smash this thing out until it's fucking gone.
Oh shit! Good for you.
Keep fucking going, because the more you move the pen, it's just like, okay, there, and then boom, it's gone. It's like, now you're back on your thing. You kind of.
Now, is this something that'll take? Is this something that may take days or hours, or is this something you can do within?
It depends what it is. Different things have led me into different blocks. I remember. It was like 2014, around there. I ended up losing my mom, and that sent me into this.
I could just imagine that's got to be terrible.
Yeah. So that sent me into a thing. It's just like, it sucks, man. You know, like, she ended up taking her own life. Oof. And it's just like, I lost 4 years of my life where I don't even know what the fuck I did.
Really?
It's just like, I was on autopilot. I went into work the next day. And then it's just weird. It just felt like this weird dream-like fucking thing for like 4 fucking years, where it's like, cool, things are happening, and I'm just like, oh, whatever. You know, it sucks. But some art blocks kind of last a few days. Some might last months.
Yeah.
And just different burnouts. I'm going through a burnout right now, which a lot of people might not even know. Where it's like, I ended up losing my brother in...
Jesus.
Yeah, I know. 2023, I lost my brother. He took his own life as well, and lost my aunt in September. He went in May. She went in September. Same thing, suicide. And it's just been like this weird fucking thing. I'm just navigating it, you know. But
I don't know what they did for a living, but I mean, one of the issues I think we run into as artists is the fact that we tend to be you wear your feelings on your sleeve, you know what I mean? So it can be a really fucked up time, you know?
Yeah, it's just like, I know what I went through with my mom when that happened, so it's just like, I don't want to go through that again, of just like, I went into like 20 grand in debt. I don't know what the hell I was doing. Things were just spiraling. I mean, I don't drink or smoke or do drugs, because I probably would have been fucking dead. Yeah. So it was just a lot of just like online shopping, and just like isolation, and just like depression, and just like, what the fuck is going on?
I mean, I'll be honest, I don't think that being in our trade is necessarily... I mean, I think that the best and the worst exist in this trade, in this business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, while I think that you can make some diehard, ride for life kind of friends. Yeah. You also meet a lot of pieces of shit that you don't want to necessarily be around. You know what I mean?
So that's one of the things because I wanted to be a tattooer in high school. I was sophomore year. My painting teacher, Miss Gear, she took me, and we visited some shops, and they were just like, Mrs. Gear and Mr. Neurath. They took me to some shops, showed my drawings around, and everyone's like, yeah, you're not ready for this, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I didn't know what to think about it, because I was just like super shy, sheltered. I'm still kind of the same kid. But I was just like, okay, I guess I'm not ready. And I held these people at such a high level, because it's like, I don't know what else to do with art. Right. Because I didn't have any exposure to any of this. It's like, I don't know what to do. It's like, I guess you're just an artist and you just do tattoos. Like, I don't know what else there is out there.
I think some of us, like me personally, I just fell into it. Like, it found me. It found me.
Yeah. For me, tattooing found me just out of despair, because I was at a point where I was just going to blow my head off, because it's like, I can't keep doing this comic work. I can't afford to make a living. I can't keep getting paid $25 for a fucking comic page that's taking me 12 hours, 15 hours to fucking do. And then these people, sometimes they pay you, sometimes they don't pay you. One of the last projects I ended up doing, the dude sent me a check I was able to pay off like my bills, my rent, and all this shit, and then the check bounced.
Jesus.
So then it's like, cool, I'm out $3,000.
Not to mention all the time. And then, you know, my bank has overdrafted me like another fucking like $600. And it's like, dude, what the fuck am I going to do, man? Oh, so that was it for me. I was like, I got to get the fuck out of here. Like, people have been telling me to get into tattooing forever. Take advantage
forever.
of it.
You know, I remember when I was at Second Skin, when one of my girlfriends, she was getting her apprenticeship over at this Meriden shop. And I'm not even gonna just cut it right there. I'll cut it right there. I'm glad they're closed. Let's just say that. But they were like, yeah, you're the one that should be getting into tattooing. And it's like, I don't want to get into tattooing. I don't, dude, because I know the people that are here. It's like, you guys, I don't think you want me around.
See, that's the reason why I tell people you need to kind of get out there. You can't just, everybody who looks at every tattoo, as you know, like, you have a lot of younger tattooers that are coming into the business or are already in the business, and they're shitting all over it. Like, you guys suck. This old school apprenticeship is bullshit.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys. No, fuck you for not doing the due diligence of looking further than just making a phone call or one shop.
Yeah.
That's on you. There's a lot of tremendous individuals in this business.
Yeah.
And if you didn't take the time to go find out and then just ran out to Amazon and bought your own shit, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And that's on you.
And this day and age is different because this day and age, everything is in the palm of your hand. Like, you have a phone.
Yeah.
Like, this phone, you get all this information. This phone is more than just TikTok and Pornhub.
No, it's a straight up fucking computer, supercomputer.
Yeah, it's there. It's the information, but that wasn't there in 2002, 2003 when I was going to these shops.
No, most certainly agreed. Agreed.
So it's like, it's a little different. But
no,
like,
now there's no excuse.
Now there's no excuse.
And for anybody who goes and says every old school tattooer that wants that's willing to apprentice you is a douchebag.
Yeah.
No, you're the asshole douchebag.
Yeah.
You
just
don't
do
know anything.
Yeah, just do your homework. So, I mean, I didn't know at that point. I didn't know what shop was which shop. I just thought all shops were the same. I went to like 6 or 7 different shops, and it's all just different vibes. Or it's like, okay, I'm in here. I went to one shop, you know, Underworld, that was near my house. Fuck that place. You know, I'll say that. Like, fuck them. You know, the owner was a fucking douchebag. And then one of the artists there, it's like, I was like 16. It's like, hey, dude, you can come hang out. We can paint in the basement together. And it's like, I'm not going to the fucking basement with you. I don't fucking know you. What am I going to get fucking molested in the basement? Like, oh, thanks, dude. But they're all like drug addicts and crackheads and just unreliable people that you just can read them. It's like, you don't need to have autism to read fucking people. And
no. But again,
it's just
I think that you being who you were at that time, being an adult. Well, I shouldn't say adult. You were a kid, but you had street smarts. I honestly would hazard to say that a majority of the people trying to get into the business now don't have a fucking lick of street smarts. They'd be eating like a fucking...
It's just like, no, oh, come here, come hang out. It's like, I'm not going there. What the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah.
It's like, that's not happening. And it's like, you know what? Maybe I'll give up on this tattoo career for now, and I'll go another path. You know, because my path was, after high school, I was going to do the Marines, and decided not to do that. I went into Tungus Community College. And then from there, I went to the University of Hartford, and I went that path. I discovered art, and that kind of got me out of that weird
that whole
trajectory that I was going. Because it's like, I have nowhere. I have no points. So it's like, what do I do?
Where do you go from here?
And I was like, all right, I have nothing. I guess Marines. I guess that.
So it was Marines or tattooing?
So it was like Marines or arts or school, college.
College, okay.
You know, so it was state college, and I got lucky because it's like my grandparents raised me, so I was able to get, you know, financial aid. The whole school thing was paid for, and I was like, cool, I just have to get out of high school and go there. And then in college, I took off because I realized high school was just daycare.
Yeah. I mean, I will admit, my high school, the teachers that we had in high school, our art teachers were tremendous.
Yeah, they were
like
awesome.
They were the ones that got me, that pushed me.
Yeah,
because there was no real curriculum other than being a good artist, and these teachers recognizing that and going, no, you need to take this beyond what we can give you.
Yeah,
and that comes from you, not from us.
No. So I was lucky. I had a bunch of awesome teachers under Britton High, Mrs. Gear,
to be honest, I wanted to break into before when you mentioned that, because that's tremendous. I mean, the high school teachers are really, they're the ones that kind of can help mold and push you to the next level.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times going to a fucking guidance counselor and talking to them, and they
No.
don't even know you.
Yeah.
But you know as well as I do, if you're sitting with a teacher, like an art school teacher, who's sitting there and helping you figure things out for yourself, create for yourself,
Yeah.
you know, with just something they've given you.
Yeah.
No, there's no better teacher. And that's the whole point of a good apprenticeship and everything else. Like,
Yeah.
This all kind of just builds up.
It's
builds
like,
up.
you know, like my roots, I got lucky. They were good. You know, I had good teachers. I had Nurath, I had Mr. Baylock, I had Alicia Gear, I had Mr. Williams, Mr. Aiken. They were my history teachers and my African-American history teacher. I had some science teachers. They were all awesome. They were all like, hey, dude, like, you know, you're smarter than you actually are, and you need to pursue this.
Right.
Because I know that I would just draw in every single class.
Right.
You know, that's all I did.
That's how I was in high school.
And even in college, I did the same thing. But it's like I can do one thing and listen to something else.
Yeah. And still be able to manage.
And still be able to
pick stuff up.
To manage and pick stuff up, which I think might have gotten me in trouble with when I started my apprenticeship, where it's like, oh, you're not watching. It's like, I don't need to watch because I'm listening to how you're working the skin. You know, 1, 2, 3, wipe. 1, 2, 3, wipe. It's like, okay, you're shading. 1, 2, 3, wipe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, wipe. It's like I'm listening to that. I was like, I don't have to watch you.
But here's the thing with
they
that.
They didn't know that.
And you have to consider the fact these are guys who want you to learn. They have their own mindset of how they want it.
So,
and if you don't pay attention, they're going to hold it against you.
Yeah, I know. So, you know, that was my thing where it's like I should have communicated more and I should have, but it's like it is what it is, you know. But I have different methods of just doing things.
Doing your thing.
Just from experiencing of doing all the other things, from painting, from drawing, from sculpting, from inking, from working in comics, from working whatever the hell I was working on. But it's still a journey. So
it's nothing
still,
but. It's nothing
I'm
but.
still learning. There's still things that come through the door and I'm just like, fuck. And I look at it as I'm talking to them and I'm like, all right, cool. 3 round outline around here, gray line outline around there, 7 round shader around here, 9 mag around there. Okay, this is a 6 tone, this is a 4 drop. Okay, cool. I could do this.
How many of the drawings that you do, like on your iPad or on paper, that I know me personally, since the iPad, I've lost. When I was using microns on paper, I was like, okay, this is a type 3, this is a 5 round, this is a 7 round, this is a 9 round, this is a 14 round. With the iPad, that's all out the window now. Now what I have to do is I have to do my drawings in the back of my mind, know, all right, hold back on how much line work you're putting in, how much detail you're putting in, because this is on skin.
Yeah.
You're not sure how big it's going to be, whatever. Yeah. And a lot of times it's not until I print it out to size that I go, all right, that's a type 3, this is going to be 7, this is going to be like, do you have a fixed idea in your head where you're going with it?
So I tried that method where I would design things with the preset needles in my head, and that didn't work. So what I do now is I'll do the drawing. Hopefully I can get a picture of where it's going on the body.
Right.
If not, then, you know, you just kind of wing it the day of. You're just like, all right, I'll omit this, I'll omit that, simplify this, get rid of that. Make this black so this stands out instead of using this dark brown. Because also skin tone plays a role with stuff. But then when I make the stencil, I use the technical pen on Procreate.
Okay.
And I'll make a stencil of the drawing.
Right.
And I have the preset little notches.
so you already know what size.
Yeah, what it'll print out as.
I have a tendency. I like using the DigiPen because it gives you that brush. Like it gives you like some thick to thin.
Yeah. So
which is how I would love to see it on the skin.
Yeah.
But
you can't. It is. So I'll draw the whole thing out with however it comes out, either on paper, scan it and then color it, or all completely digitally and then print it out and then do the drawing by hand. There's different methods for the different pieces, but then I'll take that drawing and I'll take the technical pen and I'll take the preset notches and I'll make a stencil. I'll sit there and take the time to make another stencil. Oh,
for real? Okay,
so
that's a lot. Okay,
so that when I put it on the skin, because I know what it does on the skin. Once you put the stencil stuff on, you put the stencil. It's like certain line thicknesses will expand.
It'll grow. Yeah.
So if you have something that has a thickness, then you're running a 3. You end up chasing the line. I don't want to chase lines. I just want to zip.
Those are things I think that come with.
It
comes with time and experience where it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? You could have a line this thick and go in there with a type 5 and just know where it's going to be.
Yeah, I just like having that plan, and if it takes me an extra half hour to lay out that plan for my brain to just kind of navigate the tattoo, it's like, cool. It took me an extra half hour, but I saved an extra hour on the tattoo.
Right.
And I'm able to do these things and just move on to the next thing instead of, because I've had the issues of just like, oh, this line is really bold and I'm using a 5. And it's like, now I'm chasing which outline is which instead of, I don't want to try and ride the precise middle of this thick line with a 5. It's just...
I'll be honest with you, man. I almost feel bad for individuals that are coming into the business now because, you know, back in the day when we were tattooing and in the heyday when it was like up until like say 2014, 15, where it was like every shop was just banging. You know what I mean? You got to work a lot of your chops out in the first year or 2, 3 years just doing street shop stuff. You know what I mean? Where now I think that so much is left up to who you can get in your chair. Yeah. And I don't think you're getting the quantity of pieces that are coming through the fucking door where you're just churning through pieces where that's the only way to really get better. I mean, don't get me wrong. If someone's going to spend, and the reason why I say that is because if someone's going to spend 19 hours on a fucking tattoo this big, of course it better be perfect. Yeah. You know what I mean? But when you come in at a time where it's not a matter of spending an exorbitant amount of time on a tiny tattoo. It's in a matter of you're churning out and you're getting better and getting better and getting better. And the more you do, the faster you do it. And the better you get at it quicker. That's the difference. And again, I know that sounds real kind of like bullshit fucking factory style, but it's the truth.
I get it, but that's the way to do it. Because if you want to get better at drawing hands,
you just draw.
You can't draw one hand for 13 hours.
Yeah.
You know, you have to draw how many hands can I draw in 13 hours and just fucking go. Yeah. And it's just like, okay, boom, 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 boom. I had whole sketchbooks that were just full of hands, full of feet, full of faces, full of ears, full of arms. And it's like, I didn't care. It was just autopilot and learning. And it's like, okay, boom, boom. And you get better at it. It's like, oh, this sucks. It's like, who cares? It's not for Joe. This is for me. And once it's done, it goes in the garbage.
And you know full well that the more you do that, the better you're going to get at. And it's not the moment, it's the end result.
It's the end result. So I'm always going for the end result. It's like, okay, the moment you have to be, when you're working with a client, it's like, you got to be in that moment and work with them. But the moment, it's like, it's always the end goal. It's like, how can I do this better so that in 2 years I'm able to...
I think that's something we don't talk to people about. And it's understandable because when you're apprenticing, you don't want to tell people, like, I'm an apprentice, you got your tattoo for free because I'm learning on you. Yeah. It's the same thing with tattooing in general. The more you do something, the better you're going to get at it. You never tell somebody, like when people, well, what do you do when you fuck up? Well, I'm not going to tell you. Yeah. Because that's not what you do. Yeah. You know?
But, so when I started tattooing, I would tell everybody I was an apprentice. And for the first 3 years, it's like I would tell people, it's like, I've only been tattooing for 2 years. I don't have any tattoos. Like when I started tattooing, I didn't have any tattoos.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that was a big issue. I was like, oh, how can you do tattoos and not have any tattoos? It's like, listen, dude, what? Like, what are you talking about? It's like, okay, I guess I'll start getting tattoos because I guess that means I'm better. Not necessarily, because I've seen people that are covered in tattoos that are dog shit.
That is suck, yeah.
It's like you've been tattooing for 20 years, you're covered in tattoos,
but your head is tattooed. There is a thing where it's like, how do you know what a tattoo feels like? I mean, it does drive me crazy when I see somebody who's not tattooed.
Yeah, so that's why I started getting tattooed, because it's like I had a little sheet in my room where I was like, okay, every session I would write it down. It's like, hey, on Mike, I did some shading on wings. On so-and-so, I did a little heart on that. So once I got to 100... tattoos, I tattooed myself. I tattooed the sound.
Oh wow, okay, that's a lot actually to get
so through. I was like, all right, cool, that's my little milestone. I recorded it. The next one was like at 200. I have another tattoo over here that I stole someone's flash from off of Instagram because I messaged him and I was like, hey, can I pay you for this? And he's like, no, I'm not going to take your money because I can't take your money for the tattoo if I'm not tattooing it. And it's like, motherfucker, I'm not going to fly to Spain to get tattooed by you. Right. Fuck you. I was going to give you $300 to just tattoo myself off of your design.
But to me, it's not necessarily the image. It's the experience. It's the experience.
It's the experience.
To me, it's like when people ask, they're like, "Oh, have you ever tattooed yourself?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but you don't. I'm not doing it for coverage. I'm doing it because I want to collect from individuals." And again, from the standpoint of a beginner learning. What you want is to sit in that person's chair and watch that motherfucker tattoo you.
So, and it falls right into that because it's like very early on, I'm ignorant. I have no idea. Yes, I'm 32 years old, but I'm still in this.
Which is surprising that the people who are bringing you in aren't going and be like, no, fucking go and get tattooed by that motherfucker.
So it's like, it's also money. It's like, I don't have, $1,500 to blow off.
Understandable.
To go over this.
Understandable.
It's whatever. But it's like, you already posted the flash. I'm not making any money off of this. I love the work. I'm going to tattoo it on myself, and that's going to be my learning experience on myself as well. Am I going to post a tattoo? No, because I'm probably going to get chewed out by a bunch of people. It's like, oh, you took this guy's flash. You didn't give me any money, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't want to hear that.
Well, but at that point, too, I mean, you could also, just get flash that's available to anybody.
So that's what I do now. So now I'm at the stage now where I feel I've had not all the experience under the needle, but enough where it's like, okay, cool. I feel comfortable now. Now I know what kind of tattoos I want to get.
Well, you've been in here before you were heavily tattooed. I've tattooed you once. I've tattooed you twice. You got tattooed by Tom Strom.
Yeah,
when
Tom
he came
Strom.
in here.
Yeah, Tom Strom was a big deal. So Jeff showed me Tom Strom when I started my apprenticeship, and I fell in love with Tom. I was like, holy fuck. This dude is amazing. I got to meet this guy. This dude is freaking awesome. And he's like, oh yeah, he's in some bumfuck place in the UK. I forget where he was.
He was in Scotland. He was in Scotland at the time.
And it's like, oh, well, that's not fucking happening. All right, cool. But then, you guys had a little flash event here, and Tom's here.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, shit, Tom, he's real. I can touch him. Cool. This is awesome. So I got this little candy corn thing.
That was for our whiskey church thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then months later, I ended up getting this piece by Tom, which is awesome. And then talking to him about machines and needles and all this stuff, and he just goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
And learning from him and how
Tom is a wealth of fucking information.
Yeah, dude. If I could get tattooed by Tom every day, I probably would. Yeah. Because it's just sitting down with him. He can talk because I can't talk for shit.
Tom's a chatty fuck.
Yeah, but it's information and it's fun, and he has fun with it, and he's just a goofy, awesome fucking dude. And also, he's talking, but I'm also feeling him and learning as he's doing. And it's like he was able to gently kind of work me through a 6.5 hour session without completely destroying my body.
Wrecking you,
Yeah. So he's just like very careful. It's like, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like, oh, look at this is how he's filling in the blacks. It's like close my eyes and it's just like bam, 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 wipe, bam, 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 wipe. He's got a rhythm. Yeah. So that I learned from Tom. So it's like, all right, so now when I go and approach my tattoos, I have to get that rhythm as well.
You bring a little bit of what you picked up from them to your stuff.
So it's like, okay, so instead of just trying to crank it out and fill this whole area blue and just completely crashing someone's system, it's like, all right, you can still fill it in. It's going to take the same amount of time. So just take your time and just slowly massage it in.
I often wonder what you're saying about the fact that you noticed a repetition and a pattern in the way in which he tattoos. I've been tattooed by individuals that have been tattooing for a third as long as I have, and I'm genuinely impressed by the work that they do, the art that they create. But I've been tattooed by them, and they are fucking hammers. And I sit there, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, you crushed me in 5 hours. How the fuck do you get people to sit for like 12 hours?
It all depends. Like, Jeff has started this black arm, and then I got it finished at the shop by John. And John's a fucking animal. He's just hammering, and I want to fucking choke him sometimes. But he gets the job done. It's just like, he can fucking line. He can fucking do some amazing script.
Just a good tattoo.
Yeah, he can saturate like a motherfucker. But it's just like, yeah, dude, you just let people breathe a little. Yeah. Instead of giving like a fucking 15 rounds, it's like, yeah, give me 5 and let me catch my breath. Yeah, because you're really hammering in there. Your machine's really fucking going, and I want to fucking kill you. So everyone's a little different, but I learned that from Tom, where it's just like, he was just like, yeah, you don't want to tax your clients because then they're not going to want to come back. Right. So just kind of gently massage it, gently tax their skin, and then the tattoo's a breeze. And it's like, we took 2 breaks, and I was like, okay, cool, this is done. And it's like, that's it. Yeah. And it's like, oh fuck. And it's like, why? This was 6.5 hours.
Again, I think it just comes from experience.
Yeah.
It's the experience of that. And again, that's something you eventually build on by just experiencing it from other individuals, and then you bring it a little bit at a time in your own thing.
So it was just like, all right, cool. I got tattooed by Shane. That was a different experience. Shane kind of hammers it in too. And it's like fuck Shane.
He's a noodling motherfucker.
Yeah, he just keeps going, and I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna spit in his eye. But with Tom's thing, it was just like a seminar. It was just like, I'm here, take money, I don't care. Yeah. But it was all the experience I gained from him that it was just like, okay, now I was able, like, my work leveled up a whole bunch right
Just
after
from
getting,
that.
just getting tattooed by Tom was just like, oh, I was here, now I'm here.
Yeah.
And it was just like all these little things from him, like setting up, from him like running his machines, from his conversation style, from his just his rhythm, you know.
And this is why I say getting tattooed by individuals and seeing somebody who's young, who's good, but who's young and isn't heavily tattooed, you sit back and you realize how much they're missing out on by not being tattooed by other individuals, because at that point you could look at what so much to be gleaned just by getting tattooed.
Yeah.
The one thing I've always told anybody who wanted to get into tattooing or wanted to learn a particular style, it's like, yeah, don't take a seminar. Go out and get tattooed.
Yeah, go out, get tattooed, get to know them. Like right there, I got tattooed by Tom. And I was like, all right, what am I going to do next? I saw this little Daruma doll thing you had drawn, and I was like, I fucking love that. I need it. So now I went into the, just collecting pieces, because it's different from going and talking to you. It's like, hey, I want a piece that, blah, 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 this, that, the other. But something that you've drawn that's already there, ready to go. It's like, I know you want to do it because you did it.
Yeah, because you drew
it. So
it
now
right.
I want it.
Yeah.
So I got that on my leg. Then I got the pumpkin, the Cyclops pumpkin behind my tricep area, and it's like, yeah, dude. And it's like, you're a completely different animal than Tom.
Yes.
It's like the way you approach your things. It's like, you're just like, you just go.
I think that's the joy of being tattooed by so many different people, is because you just get to experience different styles, different techniques. You know what I mean? Like when I got tattooed by Kabzumski, 20-something years ago, like watching him work changed the way I do a lot of things.
Yeah.
The way I line, the way I shade, the tones in which I use, and then getting tattooed by Mike Ledger. Again, polar opposite of what Zumski did. But again, you can take those two things, and then I am not either one of them, and I'm going to take what I learned from both and figure out how I can make it work for me.
Yeah, so it's just getting tattooed by different people now. I got tattooed by you. I got tattooed by Patrick up at Night Owl.
Yes.
And he's awesome too. He's freaking phenomenal. Great artist, great tattooer.
Really coming to his own in the last year.
Super chill. Got to meet Timmy B. He's another freaking
amazing artist.
Awesome,
freaking guy, great guy.
Different shop, different vibe.
Yeah.
But it's just watching how everyone kind of works and how they do things. It's just like, okay, I'm at the point now where I have enough experience under my belt where if I get tattooed by Joe, or I get tattooed by Christian, or I get tattooed by Adam, I know what they're doing and what to kind of grab and steal and bring into my arsenal.
That's a really good way to put it.
Yeah.
Picking apart little bits and pieces and taking what you want and using it for your own little toolbox for later on down the road. Yeah. That's phenomenal.
So that's the stage I'm at right now, where it's just like, okay, I'll get tattooed by this dude, give it a month, and then it's like, okay, how does he do it? All right, cool. All right, I see how he does this. I see how he knows that. Okay, I see how he approaches this. I see how he does that. Okay, this is cool.
Nice.
Which is different than just like, oh, I'm going to sit here and watch Lou work on this. It's like, I'm fucking dying right now. I would rather sit on a metal spike up my ass. I don't care. I can't do it. It's like watching paint dry. But, there's something to learn from that too, because, the way he talks to his clients and the way he hangs his needles out. And he has a different, everyone has a different little technique to everything, and the end result, you can see it, because it's like, oh, okay, this is Joe's shit. This is how Joe's shit's gonna look like in 2 years and 5 years and 10 years. I know what I'm getting into.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, I'll approach this stuff like this, because maybe my stuff will age like that as well if I apply these little
in that particular way.
Yeah. So.
Oh, that's killer, man. That's great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we're at a good point. Is there anything else you want to touch on, or
I don't know, man. I think it's the most I've spoken in a while.
I'll be honest with you. It is the most you've said in this fucking shop in the handful.
Yeah, the first. Yeah. So I don't even know what's. I don't know. I think we might have covered everything.
We covered it. We covered a lot. There was a couple of things I wanted to touch on, but we've been going. And in all honesty, dude, I don't want this to be the last time you do the podcast. I mean, I think what I'm trying to do is bring in more people at a time, at the same time and stuff. So, yeah, man, it's not going to be the last time you're here. So,
awesome. Thank you.
Definitely not. I really enjoyed the conversation. It went in different directions that I thought it was going to, which is phenomenal.
good
which
for
is tremendous
conversations. I mean, I'm a fan of the channel. It's awesome.
I appreciate that.
You know, maybe get some more female tattooers on here.
Dude, not
but
so
not to say.
You know what the funny thing is, dude? Like, so the big thing with that is, and I will admit this is me being a dick, but there's a handful of people that I've wanted to ask, and I've heard some bad shit about certain people, and I don't want to highlight individuals that I don't know a lot about.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I know that sounds kind of fucked up.
No, I get it.
But it's a legit thing. It's like you're giving a platform to people that I may not entirely agree with the way they do things, which is part of this whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, there's going to be a couple people in the next week or two that I'm going to be talking to that I don't agree with a lot of the way that they do their thing, but they do their thing that way.
Okay.
But again, it's part of me learning, and it's part of me becoming a bigger person, and we all can grow, you know. But I agree. I mean, and female tattooers, I think part of the problem I deal with is the fact that I am an older tattooer, and a lot of younger tattooers, especially young female tattooers, they're not as quick to. Like, I know Teresa Sharp very well, so she was quick to jump on it. I know Christine from Canada very well. I met Anne-Marie that same weekend, which was great, you know.
Kelly Doty.
Yeah, Kelly's amazing,
Green.
you know what I mean? So I've been very fortunate that I know those people individually.
Okay.
A lot of the younger people that I just talked to somebody yesterday. I'm trying to get her to be on the show, and she's been, you know, she's not gotten back to me, so we'll see what happens. Maybe she'll see this and she'll be like, oh, fuck, I should call Joe.
Yeah, I mean, it's also a tattooer thing, which I hate that excuse where it's like, oh, I can't get to this because I'm a tattooer. Oh, I can't do this because I'm a tattooer. It's like, motherfucker, like, you know.
Dude, if there's anything that tattooing has shown me, there's not a goddamn thing a tattooer can't do.
Yeah.
Because I am testament to the fact that I have done a lot.
Yeah.
And these are things that I never thought I'd be able to do, and if it weren't for this fucking trade, I would not be doing. I would not have done most of what I've done in my life.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just fuck it. You know? I mean, the first time I met you, you know, I had heard from a bunch of different tattooers where it's like, oh, Joe's a piece of shit. Joe's an asshole, and I'm like, who the fuck is Joe? I don't know anything. I don't know any tattooers. And then I meet you, and it's like, oh, this is Joe, and I'm like. Hey, nice to meet you, Joe.
Is better.
I don't fucking know. I don't
nothing
know you.
is better than ruining people's expectations of you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Because it's like, oh, I thought you were a fucking jerk of this, and it's like, what the fuck? And it's like, I also don't know tattooers, so I don't know like that Hollywood where it's like, oh my god, it's Adam Harmon. Oh my god, you know, it's just like, oh, it's just some guy, he tattoos, and that's the way I want people to approach me as well. Where it's like, oh, it's not LaGonza from fucking Instagram,
exactly,
which is the whole fucking joke with me and my buddy. We made that whole thing up. Well, he made it up because I was having trouble.
But dude, how many people? I mean, there's a lot of people that not even reputation, bullshit.
Yeah,
will get them very, very, very far. Not as much today as back in the day.
No.
Although I think bullshit today is different than bullshit from back in the day. It's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same dog and pony show. It's just being presented in a different way. So individuals get a lot further than they probably should be allowed to based on bullshit. Yeah. And that's been from back in the day to today.
It's still there. Yeah. But, you know, with him, I mean, I credit him with one of the reasons why my social media took up, like blew up, because I was using my full name. And it wasn't doing anything. And then jokingly, I'm at his house. We're just eating, bullshitting. He's like, you should change your thing to Gonza. Because no one's going to know what the fuck you are. How about LaGonza? And I was like, dude, that's so fucking dumb. And I'm like, that might work. And it fucking worked, dude. And it's like, what
again,
the
social media is not about, it's not about talent. It's not about, it's not about like actual credibility.
No.
It's about the perception of credibility. It's about what you can actually put on a stage and make perform. And again, it sucks.
It's changed a lot. When I started in 2017 to what it is, the diarrhea bowl that it is now, is fucking crazy. Where it's like, there's nothing worse than scrolling Instagram and seeing some fucking shitty tattooer telling you, it's like, hey dude, you want to book more clients? You got to take my seminar, this and that, and you check out their work. And it's like, go fucking kill yourself.
Dude, the thing that drives me crazy with that is it's like, dude, if you were that fucking busy, how the fuck do you have time to create this
content? You have 13 reels every fucking day. It's like, where are your tattoos? You're a tattooer, but now you're making your money from essentially just taking advantage of people that are struggling.
How do they say it? If those who cannot do, teach.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not going to say that's across the board. There are some really talented artists out there that are teaching. I honestly believe that a lot of the reasons they're teaching is for no other reason than the money.
The money, unfortunately.
You know? And again, I might be mistaken, and if I offend anybody by having said that, really don't fucking care, because that's the way I see it.
It is what it is, man. But it's just, you see it online, and it's like, dude, you're full of shit. You know, the same thing with like people trying to come into the business, where it's like, all right, so you want an apprenticeship, you want to be a tattooer, you're covered in tattoos, your portfolio sucks, you're not taking my advice, but you want to cosplay a tattooer, you have your Doc Martens, your stupid hair, your dumb piercings. It's like, when you strip that all away, what are you?
Exactly.
You're just a fucking parasite. And it's like, I can see through you. It's like, you're not willing to put in the work, and the work you showed me is on a fucking iPad from Flash that you stole and just recolored.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
I think that looking at it from the standpoint of a shop owner, someone who wants to be take somebody on as an apprentice, you know, you would have to do much more work to know the individual that you're bringing in than you probably had to do back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, and unfortunately it's affected the entire trade, and it bums me the fuck out that it's watered it down to the point where it's like, now everybody's in it, and unfortunately it's affected everything.
I've seen artists that, you know, they get an apprenticeship, they get started, once they get their 2 years and their license, they split. They, you know, fuck you to my mentor, I'm going to open my own shop because reasons. You know, and it's like, that's kind of why. It's like, you're not ready at all.
Well, you know,
to take that plunge. It's like, okay, you can do what you do, but if Instagram wasn't there, if Pinterest wasn't there, you wouldn't be stealing these designs from these Korean artists to do your big floral work. You'd be fucked, because you don't draw. And I know you don't draw, because I've seen the stuff you do on Procreate versus the stuff that's on paper. And it's like,
well, we live in a day and age where, you know, the corners that have been allowed to be cut, or the technology that allows this many corners to be cut, is insane.
It's insane.
But by the same token, I'm not knocking it, because I take advantage of that. It just does kill you when you realize how many rock stars it's created.
Yeah. But eventually they're just paper rock stars. There's nothing behind it. It's just, you know.
Well, again, I think time will tell. I mean, you know, having done this this is my 32nd year. Yeah. You know, I made 32 years. You know, the fact of the matter is, like, if these people are still doing this, and again, who knows if they want to, if they've been doing this for 15 years, 10 years, and they're already rock stars, you know, maybe they got another 5 years in them, and that's it.
And that's it.
They're going to move on. You know what I mean? But I don't think we live in a world where you can afford to be that way anymore.
No.
You kind of got to put the time in, and you got to know that you've got another 15 years ahead of you at 15 years. You know what I mean? Like, we're not in the day and age where people are going to retire off fucking... We don't have the backlog of art that you're going to be able to live off of as prints and stuff like that. It just doesn't exist.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't like buying stuff.
Yeah. And things are changing so goddamn fast. Yeah. That doesn't happen anymore.
It's rough. But it's just, you just keep going. I can't do anything else. Exactly. So it's like, I'm already here. It's like, I tried everything else, and it's like, this is my last kind of hurrah. And it's the only thing that kind of keeps me hungry, and it kind of keeps me feeling alive. Because it's like, you get the feeling once you reach something where it's just like, I'm just kind of going through the motions. Yeah. It's like an old marriage. It's like, oh, I'm just waking up, and I guess I'll...
It is hard. It is, I will admit, even, you know, for me, like, I struggle with the day-to-day now, because of the fact that things have become, like you said, day-to-day. It's like, you know, it's like, yeah, man, this is what I do for a living. You know, I don't think I get enough amazing, creative, fun shit to do to keep you being like, yeah. Now it's like, no, the person wants to get a St. Michael. The person wants to get a Christ head. The person wants to get to... Now you're just doing the things for the sake of doing it. Yeah. I'm not knocking any of that stuff. No. It's work. No, I love work.
It keeps you...
Keeps me working.
It keeps you working, so you have bills. You have car insurance, you have medical insurance, you have your rent, mortgage, whatever the hell it is.
And it is still...
It's just it's a job.
It is still creative. Yeah. You know, no matter how you look at it, you're still being creative. You're still doing what you want to do. But the fact is, your brain is stepping back from the creative side of things, and it's more of just, now you're a technician. This is what you need to do. This is what it's got to look like. Make sure you don't fuck it up.
Yep. Don't fuck it up. Show up. Don't be drunk. Yeah. Have your drawing ready. The person left the $300 deposit. They come up to to their appointment, and you're not even ready. And you're gonna have them waiting on the couch for 5 hours. I think that's fucking a load of bullshit.
It's bullshit.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's it for me.
No, that's good. I think the idea of not coming into work high or drunk and not letting your client sit on the fucking couch.
Unprepared, or it's like, this dude left the foreign. I've seen that happen. I've heard it happen from a bunch of different people, where it's like even people that book appointments with me. It's like, listen, when you come in, I'm gonna have the drawing done, and I might take a little bit to like re-outline it for my brain so that I can zip through and know what needles.
Get it done that much easier and quicker.
Yeah, quicker for me without having to stress out. And then it's like, then we just bang it out,
Exactly.
But it's never you come into the shop and I'm not ready for you.
Exactly.
It's like I might be late because of traffic sometimes, or I got to pick up a coworker.
But it's not going to be a normal.
But it's not a normal thing. It's just like out of the blue. It's like, it's like, oh, there's a problem. It's like, yeah. Or so you don't like the drawing. It's like, well, okay, what do you want to do?
Exactly. Then you can change it up.
Then you can change it up.
It happened with one of the guys in the shop today. So I get that.
And it's like, I can't tattoo something on you that you don't want.
Exactly.
Just to feel my ego. It just doesn't make sense, because like once I draw it, it's yours.
Yeah.
So
that's the thing. It's not about you at that point. It's about the client.
Yeah. It's I'm doing the fun part. Yeah. Which is I did the drawing. You want the wings changed. You want to add a penis here. Whatever. I don't care. Fuck it. Cool. It's yours. At the end, it's your tattoo. Exactly. I'm part of this experience and this interaction.
I think when your artistic, voice supersedes what the client is wanting.
That's the problem.
You've kind of stepped on a dick that you shouldn't have.
No. So that's kind of keeping your ego in check. It's like my ego. I don't even think I have one. It's just is there. If I meet an artist that's like being an asshole, it's like, dude, don't do it because I will fucking murder you. And then you don't want to get to that point. But for the client, it's like, all right, what do you want? I need to know exactly what you want so I can make something that you want.
Exactly.
Not like, oh, you want this gargoyle? Well, I want to do Spider-Man. Guess what? You're going to do this Spider-Man fighting Venom. And it's like, no, dude, that's not what he wanted.
No, you're doing a gargoyle.
Yeah, this is what you want. It's like, okay, let's make it happen.
Nice.
So I'm super picky about that. I'm real careful with it, not to put too much of me into this stuff.
Right.
Because some people just don't want what I do.
Yeah.
And I understand that. And that's it's like, okay, cool.
There's always a time and a place. There's always a person that's going to find what you want. What you do is what they want.
Yeah. So it's still close to what I do, because I'm still doing it, and it still has my flair, but it's just not a creature with teeth leaking. It's not a Tom Strom piece.
Right, exactly.
So this is kind of like the world I live in. So that's why I connected with Tom so much.
It worked out perfectly, So. All right. Well, again, man, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you coming out. Thank you so much. Hey, everybody, like and subscribe. And please spread the word. Let everybody know what we're doing here. Leo, again, thank you very much. I'm going to put all of his information in the description below, and check out his work. He really is a tremendous artist. So
thank you.
On that note, see you when I see you.